All right. I'm Tiffany with CTR Bookkeeping and Consulting, and I'm going to do a series of a few different videos on different aspects of QuickBooks Online to kind of give you an idea on where everything is if you're new to QuickBooks or if you have QuickBooks and you're not quite positive where to go for things or what they mean. So today we're going to focus on the chart of accounts. I think we'll do a segment on probably the banking center, expenses. We might step into payroll and taxes, but today we're going to look at the chart of accounts. So if you go to, this is a sample file, by the way. If you go to accounting and then chart of accounts, this is going to pull up every account that is in your QuickBooks file. And you're going to have a few different types of accounts. You're going to have your assets, which are anything that your company owns that's worth money. Basically, if you've got a truck is an asset, a fixed asset. You're also going to have undeposited funds. So if you made money, but they're not deposited into your checking account yet, that's going to be another current asset. Things that are more current, like within a 12-month period, are going to be your current. And then fixed assets are going to be like your truck or buildings or things like that. And then you're going to have your expenses, which we all know what expenses are. That's going to be anything that's costing your company money to run the company, basically. So you're going to have your bank charges, fees, disposal fees, dues and subscriptions, permit expenses. This is a landscaping company in the sample file, so it's all related to that. But your maintenance and your repair, your rent expense, anything that's costing your money that is taking out of the money that you made is going to be an expense. Oh, side note, we will also go into reports. I think that's a super important one. The profit and loss report and the balance sheet, we'll go over those in a future video. But for now, we're just going to kind of look at what is in the chart of accounts. So your expenses, you've got your owner's drawing and your equity accounts. And those are going to be up here. You have your liability accounts. So liability account is basically like a holding account. So say you collect sales tax in the income that you make, the sales you make at your business. So that's not actually your money. That's not income. The sales tax portion you're going to have to pay to the state. So you are holding that money in this liability account until you pay it to the state. So you're not going to show it as income. You're not going to show it as expense. You're just holding it. So it doesn't really need to show on your profit and loss, which is your income minus your expenses, because it's not affecting your income or your expenses. So that's what a liability account is. And you've got your current same way, and you've got your long-term. So your long-term is going to be like if you have a 30-year note, like with the bank on a mortgage, or a long-term, less like more than 12 months. If you have like a current is going to be less than 12 months. So if you have, if you owe someone like $1,000 and you're paying it back within 12 months, or you owe sales tax and that's going to fluctuate monthly, that's going to be current liability. Then you're going to have your revenues, which is your income. So all your income is basically money that you're making doing your business operations. So this person, Craig, he does landscaping services. So that's his primary income. And it looks like he's got it set up as he's kind of got it split out pretty intensely. A lot of people just use one or two categories for their income. This guy wants to see like, what did he make with this? What did he make with this? So you can set it up. That's the cool thing about QuickBooks is you can make it as detailed or as broad as you want. So if you want to look at your profit and loss report and you just want to see like basic categories, you can see that, and it's super easy. It takes less time to categorize, and it'll save you time. But if you really want to get down in the nitty-gritty and look at the details, you can set up as many accounts as you want. And just a note on this setting up accounts, so each subscription to QuickBooks Online has different allowances for how many accounts you can have. So this particular subscription has 250 accounts you can have in here. So for instance, we're only using 44, but say we're at 249 and we need to add 2 accounts. You can actually go through here and see which accounts you're not using anymore. Say you're not going to ever do advertising again. That's probably not going to happen, but you can click this down arrow and you can make it inactive, and that will actually take away one of these and give you space. So you don't have to necessarily upgrade if you need more room. Unless you are using every single account, you can go through and see which accounts you are no longer using. But you might have an old credit card that you're not using that you can make inactive or something like that. And then owner's capital. Gonna be up here in your equity. So you've got all those accounts in here. Let's see here. Trying to take a look at. They have other expense. You can also use other income or other expense, and that'll actually put it when you pull your profit and loss, which we'll go through more in depth when we do that video, but it'll actually show you kind of your operating at the top, and then at the bottom, it'll do other income. And we can probably pull that real quick. Like I said, we'll go over this in detail on a different video, but just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. If you look, this is going to be your regular income and expenses, and then you're going to have your NOI, your net operating income. And then if you have an other expense or an other income, it'll be down here below. So if you have some random things that you don't really want to show on your like monthly operating, and you want to see how regular stuff's doing, and then at the bottom, you want to see how the extra stuff is doing, that's kind of a way to see that. Anyway. So back to your chart of accounts. Also, another quick fact, if you want to search anything in QuickBooks Online, this is the main reason I love QuickBooks Online over QuickBooks Desktop. This little search bar here, you can look up anything. If you need to look up a specific transaction, if you want to look up a specific report, you can look up profit and loss. It's going to show you anything with those words in it. If you want to look up chart of accounts, say you don't want to click into all that stuff. Bam, love it. Okay, so that's the basic accounts that you'll have in here and kind of how they are laid out in the profit and loss report, which I think that's the main report everyone looks at. Balance sheet is important also, but the profit and loss is going to be showing you what you made, what you spent, how much money's left over, which is what you made, right? So that's kind of what everyone's wanting to see. So another fun fact in here is for a lot of these accounts, you can actually view a register and see every single transaction that has gone through that. So if you want to look at your undeposited funds account and you want to see like, why do I have a balance of this? This is showing that I made this money, but it hasn't been deposited yet. You want to check out why. Go to view register. When you first open it, it'll show you some tips. And QuickBooks is pretty good about that. And it's going to show you, okay, here's the two that are making that balance because on this date, you had a zero balance. Now you have increased that balance by this many, but you don't have that money in yet. So if you need to research, you can do that by looking in the register. So that's super handy. You can get to the checking account registers a few different ways, but if you're in chart of accounts, you can go and just view your check register and you can see all your checking account transactions, your deposits, and then your payments and the balance. And you also can use this to see, some of these accounts, like your liability accounts, you want those to stay at zero because the idea is you are pulling money in, say this is sales tax, you're pulling money in from your sales and you're separating out the sales tax and you're putting it in this account, and then you should be paying the exact same amount out of your account. So that should zero out each time you pay your Department of Revenue. So it's a good way to see it. If you've got a $30,000 balance here, you know something's wrong. And that's also going to be on your balance sheet, but we can go into that a different day. So, and then some of these categories, you can run a report. So let's look at advertising. So, and we'll go into edit next, but let's run the report on advertising. So you can pick, we want to see what money we've spent in advertising since 90 days ago. You can just straight run a report from that and you can see we paid this. You can click into this. And there's lots of different ways to get to each transaction. This is just one way. And there's your there's your transaction. You can see everything about it. Went to advertising expense for this amount. There it is. All right. So say you want to make a change to an account, go to this down arrow, click edit. It's gonna pull your entire, say you've made this account. Let's do a better example. Well, just say you have this services, and say it was service expense and you accidentally put it as income. Just go to edit, change to expenses. It's going to ask you to save the account under. You're going to want to save it to expenses. And then you say this is a service charge. So we'll just say other general expense. And then you save it. And that would change that from an income account to an expense account. You want to make sure that your expenses are expenses and your income is income. Okay, so that's a general rundown of, and you can run a report and you can actually print a list of everything with the balance as of that day. You can customize, filter it however you want, lots of customization here. But that's a basic rundown on the chart of accounts. I'll make this video short and sweet. You know your types of accounts now. You've got you know how to get to it, and you know how to view the register or view a report on what has gone on in each account, and you know how to change it if you need to. So not scary. It's just a listing of every account in there, and it's a super easy way to see what's going on. So next video, we'll probably go over the banking center, and then we'll also do a couple videos on the financial reports, because I think that's super important. And that's something that people that might not dig super into QuickBooks might still want to pull and look at themselves. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.